let's talk about something huge. In the world of global agribusiness, where deals can be worth millions of dollars, everything can sometimes come down to a single handshake. So today, we're diving into the art of the first impression, a skill that's honestly just as important as any market report you'll ever read.
I mean, let me ask you something. Does that sound a little dramatic? Can a simple hello really make or break a multi-million-dollar deal? Well, in an industry that's built on trust and global partnerships, you bet it can. That very first interaction, it's not just small talk. It is the groundwork for everything that's about to happen. You've got to understand, in this business, your first impression is your most valuable asset. Seriously, it's not about just being polite. It's a signal. It tells the other person that you're professional, that you respect them, and that you understand the global stage you're operating on. We're talking strategic communication, right from the very first word.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. Before we even think about strategy and big deals, we have to absolutely nail the basic exchange. Because believe me, there's some real power in a simple, perfectly executed greeting.
And you know, context is everything. A casual, "Hey guys," is perfectly fine with colleagues you see every day. But walk into a high-stakes meeting with an international partner? Well, that calls for a formal, "How do you do?" or a crisp, "Good evening." Choosing the right one instantly shows that you get it, that you're aware of the situation and respect the person you're meeting.
Let's break down the absolute classic. How are you? Yeah, it's a question, but it's also kind of like a conversational dance. There's a set response that's just as important. I'm fine, thank you. And you? This little back and forth is the foundation of polite, professional conversation in English. It's smooth, it's predictable, and it keeps the conversation moving forward.
Okay, now here's a really specific one that trips a lot of people up. If someone greets you with, "How do you do?" the one and only correct response is to say it right back, "How do you do?" Don't think of it as a question about your well-being. It's more like a formal, ceremonial handshake in word form. It's a clear signal of mutual respect. All right, so we've got the basic building blocks in place. Now, let's shift gears. Let's look at how this simple social skill turns into a powerful strategic tool. We're moving into the specialized language of global agribusiness itself. And that brings us to what we call technical English in agribusiness. Now, this is so much more than just a few buzzwords. It's the entire style of communication you need for top-level negotiations, for really understanding market news, and for building those absolutely critical strategic partnerships. Honestly, mastering this is what separates the players from the leaders in this industry.
So, to speak the language, you first need to know who you're talking to. You're going to meet export managers focused on sales, and you'll meet supply chain coordinators who are obsessed with logistics. Understanding what they do is key because it lets you tailor your introduction to focus on what actually matters to them.
And here's what it looks like when it all comes together perfectly. An introduction like this is just so effective. Listen, allow me to introduce myself. My name is João Silva. I am the export manager at Agribusiness Brazil. Our company specializes in soybean and corn exports. Wow, in just a few seconds, he's given his name, his role, his company, and immediately set the stage by stating his company's specialty. It's clean, it's professional, and it sets a productive tone right from the get-go. So that's the goal, right? To sound that confident and clear. But the big question is, how do you get there? Well, it's a journey. It's all about turning this theory into practice you can actually use. Let's walk through the steps. See, getting this right isn't magic. It's a process. You start by just learning the key phrases. Then you lock them in with some written exercises. After that, and this part's crucial, you practice the dialogue with a partner. And then finally, you put it all to the test in a simulation, like a mock international trade meeting. It's a clear path from knowing the words to owning the conversation.
Think of these phrases as your toolkit. These are the building blocks for any formal introduction you'll ever need. Allow me to introduce myself. May I introduce myself? It is a pleasure to meet you. Just having these ready to go takes away all the anxiety of thinking about what to say, so you can focus on how you say it with confidence.
All right, this is where it all comes together. It's time to stop just learning the pieces and start building your own powerful professional introduction.
This simple 5-step structure, this is your recipe for a perfect first impression. 1, you kick it off with a formal opening. 2, you state your full name. 3, you give context with your job and company. 4, you offer value by saying what your company specializes in. And 5, you wrap it up with a polite closing. See,
Each step builds on the last to create a complete, professional picture of who you are. But listen, and this is so important, a script is just a starting point. It's not meant to be memorized and repeated like a robot. The whole goal here is to speak with naturalness and confidence. So, use this structure as a foundation, but then you've got to adapt it to your own personality. Practice it until it feels like you, until you've developed your own unique professional style.
Because when you get right down to it, your introduction is the first chapter of your professional story. It sets the tone for every single thing that comes after. So, I'll leave you with this question. What will your introduction say about you and about your business?